we're off. Hello, my name's Laurence.
Hello.
And what is your name, madam?
Angela.
Angela
Inglis.
Inglis.
Yes.
Is it I-N-G-L-E-S or E-N-G?
I-S.
So it's not the Communist Manifesto, it's Marx and Engels, it's Scottish. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Ingles, is it? I suppose Inglenook could be a Scottish name, word.
Is that not a fireplace?
Yeah,
or something?
it is.
Oh, right, I'm with you.
Nook. Nook is quite Scottish, isn't it?
Look, yeah.
So you're a daughter of a... You're not a miner?
No, I'm not a miner. I'm the daughter of a miner.
Daughter of a miner.
Mm-hmm.
And is that from these parts or...?
Rosington.
Rosington. Oh,
yeah.
great. Brilliant. We haven't had a Rosington.
Ah, right. Oh, it's quite the big, one of the biggest pits,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. So does that mean you were born and brought up in Rosington?
Yeah, my dad went straight into the mine from school. Then the war happened, so he, went away to be a soldier fighting the war. Came back and went back into the mines. So that was his career besides the,
And did he come from a line of miners?
Yeah, from South Shields.
All right.
They came from South Shields, yeah. And my mum's family was from Shirebrook, and her father was a manager.
Of a mine?
Of Rosington Pit.
Oh, really? So they're both?
Like supervisor manager. Yeah, oh yeah, very much. Well, the whole village was mining. It was all, and as it got bigger, then more people were brought in from everywhere else to look after it. Really.
How big was the? I mean, how big was the pit when it was at its prime?
I really don't know, because I don't like going down anywhere, so I didn't actually do the tour. When they ask you, you can take the school trip down to have a look. So, but it was the whole village, and they had mining pit houses, and then they had the council houses they had to build as well. So the village was expanding, quite a lot. And in the 60s, then they built the Wimpy estate for Scottish miners to come down and work in the pits. So a fair size. Yeah.
And so you obviously schooled there. So you're in a mining kind of school, really.
Yeah, Rosington. Rosington Secondary School. Torndale Infant School was the first one, and I lived directly opposite that. So my mum could stand at the gate and wave me over the road.
Oh, right. And did you have a big family, or was it?
2 brothers, one older, 4 years older, and he actually worked at the coal house.
What's the coal house? It
was the building where all the computers and data for the mining industry in in the area, and all the data went back to the coal house, they called it, which actually was just knocked down not long since, about 2 years ago, isn't it? So, and then I have a younger brother. I was 10 when he was born, and he also went into mining eventually. So.
And was that reluctantly or with eagerness?
Well, he worked away for a while, and then he decided to come back. He joined up in the Navy. I don't think he liked it that much, so he came back, and all the jobs that were around here were mining, so he automatically went straight back into the mines to earn a living and get on with it. Yeah.
So was your dad a happy miner?
He was strong. The thing was, with working 3 shifts, you only ever got to know my dad at maybe Christmas Day.
Really? 3 shifts?
Well, it was like mornings, afternoon and nights, they used to say. So when he wasn't at work, he'd be asleep. So the 6 o'clock shift till about 2 o'clock, then 2 till 6, and then night time they'd go on night 12 till 6. I'm not too sure, because to be quite honest, my mum dealt with it. She was the Trojan of the family. She would be cooking all the meals and making sure that my dad was fed his 3-course meal, because it was on the face, so it was heavy work. And so they needed lots of food.
Yeah. So hang on, when you say 3 shifts, you mean 3 shifts in a day?
They call it, no, like one week mornings, 1 week, sorry.
I see.
But when, like in the morning one, in the afternoon, I get him from school, he would be in bed. And then he liked the British Legion, which was the club in Rosington that, you know, he loved to go there. So at the evenings he'd go out for a couple of drinks. So, you know, it was then when we went on holiday, we'd have good times there, and he was lots of fun then. But yeah, he was a very strong, burly man of the house, and my mum just made sure that everything else got done.
Yeah.
He went to work and she ran the whole house, yeah.
And what sort of house was it?
Good, little council house.
Was it a
Not that little, really.
Pit house or a...
No, the pit houses were more down by the pit, and then the council realised there were so many people going to be working there, so then loads of council houses were built. So my mum was living with mum and dad with my grandma, my grandma, her mum, at first, and it was about 4, I think, and then they had to give them a house because they were all living in one house, and the council house had just been finished. So in fact, and then I was coming along, so they got a 3-bedroom house, so it was, yeah, fairly good house.
So you were the oldest one?
I know, my brother is, he's 4 years older. I'm the middle, and then Alan came along, and he was lovely. Great addition to the family.
Yeah.
Bit of a shock for my mum, but it's good for us.
So your dad, your grandfather was up in Sheffield, Sunderland.
South Shield, yeah.
So that means your dad was brought up there.
Yeah.
So he had a South Shields accent.
Yeah, well, I used to call him a Geordie. Everyone called him a Geordie because they couldn't tell. None of us could tell the difference, really. But my grandma was very broad, and granddad. But with his mining, all I remember of him really is being ill from chest, from the chest illness that most miners do get.
So how many times did you met him? I mean, you imagine he stayed up in South Shields and you were down in Doncaster.
No, because they'd all moved down.
All moved down.
No, we were born here.
Right, but your
my
grandfather
mum,
moved down to here as well?
Yeah, and then my dad, actually, yeah, he must have just been born because then he was schooled in later on in Rosington and then went to the pit. So I'm not actually quite sure on days, but the whole family moved down here for them to get work. Right. And yeah, I'm not that great because they never really. I can't say they were great talkers. Me and my mum were great chatters, but men didn't really talk that much. So.
So he was on the face?
Yeah, pit face.
So he didn't really come over and talk about mining, he went off to the I mean, did he have mates?
Yeah, it was a great social thing. I mean, the funny thing in our family was my mum was a church person and my dad was a miner that liked to drink. So one of the funniest things is on a Sunday morning, we'd all be walking down the street and the social club was down there, British Legion, and the Methodist chapel was the other way. So we'd all walk down and my dad would carry on there and then we would go to chapel. So, you know, totally different lives in a way. We were very, we did the anniversaries, I was the Methodist Queen and my dad would pop in occasionally, but he was very much, he earned the money, he kept us all going, but he very much was a man of work and his friends, and I mean, yeah, that was his life really.
And did he keep his health?
Right, till the end really, and it got him there, and emphysema. Right. He got his chest, yeah. But he was 67 when he died.
And did he retire? What time did he retire?
He had to finish work for about six years before that.
Did he get to the strikes and stuff, or was it?
My young brother, the one that was 10, he was working at Rosington Pit then when the strikes were on. That was horrendous. I'd actually moved to London by then. I was living in London with my husband and my two children. And it was quite horrendous really because no one was working, but luckily for Alan, my mum and dad kept Alan, to keep him safe really, so he wouldn't get too involved. Or the police were very much, the ones that came up from London were really harsh on the miners, They did a lot of damage to young lads and the miners really.
Damage in the physical sense, or damage in
well, yeah, well, obviously, you know, Thatcher really sent them up, and they just did the damage. They were just doing as they were told, I suppose. But you know, very military, and that was it. They said, this, you know, the miners were in the wrong, so they just did the damage that they had to do to stop them, you know, getting into the pits or stop people going in. There was a lot of people that still actually went into the mine that carried on. A lot of trauma there because some people needed money more so, and a lot of marriages split up because, you know, they couldn't. It was a real tragic time, and she did it so badly, Thatcher. She didn't consider the whole community that was being torn apart at all.
So were you aware of relationships that broke, marriages that broke up?
Well, it was not my age group. I was 10 years older than my brother, and he was the one, and it was his friends and that, and families, you know, artifacts that were affected. That's lovely, thank you. You know, it affected them badly because there was no money coming in. They get strike pay. Of course, once they had strike pay and they were out on the front line, then there would be conflicts, and men would be hurt, you know, families would be hurt. So a lot of the wives and children went back to their mums or anyone else that could help them, really. So a lot of marriages were broken apart through that. No security anymore. All the little shops in the villages, you know, were suffering like crazy. The welfare, which the miners used to look after, which used to have May Day, and the parks and the tennis courts and all the things, the fun we had, that I'd had, that generation all of a sudden, you know, just went into decay because there was no money ploughed back into it, so that was it. So it was really sad and bad times, you know.
Yeah, it's on YouTube, it says offline, that the streets playing, but it's, you know, the...
Can I have a drink of tea now?
Yeah, go on. We're offline, you're lucky.
The status, and it says offline, and it's just blank, so I'm not sure whether it will stream it at the moment.
Is it going okay?
The head?
Everything? Am I talking too much?
No, God, you're perfect. Absolutely bloody perfect.
Oh.
You're coming from a very civilised lady.
Oh.
Which, you know, I hadn't expected, I have to admit. Yeah. But then again, my interpretation's been Danny.
Good cup of tea.
Good.
Okay, all right.
I'll take it. I think that's
just
interesting development. It'd be interesting how you felt being in London and having it all happen down here, and you seeing it all being interpreted through London media and stuff. Would be very interesting.
Okay, all right. So it's working then.
Just thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's quite an interesting angle.
Okay. Because
you'd have been getting, I imagine, information from.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I can do that.
It's quite interesting to get the angles you get from people.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. We had a union man, Soggy was a union man.
Is he very bitter? A lot of people are bitter.
They're all bitter.
Yeah.
But a lot, actually very few are very happy to talk about the strike, actually. We had a good one yesterday, we had a good one about the fact that, are we online or not?
I think so. Danny says he can see it.
He can see it?
Yeah.
Oh, shut up then.
You're enjoying that offline conversation?
It's like... Welcome back from the advert break.
I don't think we need to. I think it's been going.
Yeah.
It's been okay, is it?
That's all right.
So, the thing that interests me is, if you're living in London, and all the media reports are coming through, and you've got family involved in the. Because I remember when I was young, you know, how it was all being portrayed in the media. How was it? How were you square? How was that? How did you feel?
Yeah.
Seeing it coming through the media, and in a London-centric, I imagine, kind of southern kind of way, with all the Thatcher stuff going on, and you knew what was going on, or maybe didn't know what was going on.
No, I did, because I had contact with my mum and dad. We'd speak a lot on the phone. We used to go up quite a lot anyway, but every 6 weeks we'd come up home, you know, husband and I, we're a very close family that way, even though I'd moved away. so when the mining situation happened, I mean, they did actually talk a lot about Scargill, you know. He was King Arthur and his court and all this. And I think he tried his hand, and I don't think it worked very well with Margaret Thatcher anyway. But I would listen to people down south, and a lot of them thought, you know, the mining industry needed to go, but they didn't like what was happening, the way it was being done. And as I said before, it was being done so badly that it was affecting people's lives instantly. You know, one minute you've got a wage, you've got a house, you've got rent, you've got all your bills, and the next thing it's no, everything stops, shut down the mine, and it was quite heart-wrenching, you know. And so, I mean, I was a hairdresser in London anyway, stylist and everything, and a lot of my clients were really quite sympathetic, you know, and then we started doing collections because you're doing food hampers, you know, to send up north. And so, you know, a lot of people were, and to be quite honest, there was a lot of northerners in London at the time when I was down there, and people from Ireland, and all people that understood nature more and what it gives out. So
oh, really?
Yeah.
In the sense of the earth?
No, just like people, you know, you need to, when you're in a city, you're pen pushing, you're in an office, everything's pristine and, you know, nice and warm and cosy, and you don't really have to do a lot to look after yourself in that sense. But once you're out in a village, it's cold, it's freezing, and coal was one of the best ways to heat yourselves at that time. And the whole house, the hot water was cold, you know, the whole house and village ran on coal. So it was a really bad time, and as I say, there was sympathy for it, but then a lot of it was, well, you know, it needs to go. Air pollution was brought into it a lot. They opened a factory in Rosington called Coal Light, which was supposed to then take the coal and filter off a lot of the harmful smoke and chemicals and everything, but then that shut down, and I don't know, it's just...
Why did that shut down?
I really don't know. As I say, I was away, so, and a lot of the friends that I'd grown up with had married and moved on, and so I didn't really have a lot of communication up here with, you know, people who would understand what questions I'd ask. But I'd speak to Alan, my younger brother, you know, and he was quite fraught without it, because he loved, you know, he loved his job and the friends. There was great camaraderie, you know. So it wasn't just losing a job, it was losing your friend with you as well, and you spent a lot of fun with and time and safety. They had to watch one another's backs all the time. So it was like a big thing. So me being down there, sorry, that was the question, I was upset by it. So all I could do was try and help that way, give donations. And there was a march in London, which my husband and Eddie, his Scottish friend, and quite a few of them went on that against Thatcher, you know, to try and bring the awareness that...
Was that a big march?
It was massive, yeah, massive. So, but, you know, she wasn't listening. She couldn't have cared less what happened up here at all. I'm sorry, but I just have no respect for that woman. Saying her name so often is upsetting me. So
No,
yeah, horrible what she did. No forethought at all, at all. So, and then the village was left to its own devices, you know, with all the damage that had been done and the people's lives that had been wrecked, you know, no mines, no nothing. And then you have to try and make your own way, don't you?
Yeah.
So I was down there, so my way was being made, really, you know, I was away from that. But I used to come home quite a lot, and that's what, you know, I just listen and be sympathetic, and anything I could do to help.
So coming home, I suppose, at regular intervals, did you kind of see, it was almost like an animation, like a freeze-frame animation, watching things maybe in decline or evolving, or through the strike, for example?
Yeah, well, decline, really, because, well, the stories that I would hear was Mrs. So-and-so, you know, her husband is split up and wife, and so there's a lot of sad stories like that that I'd be told. And then other families all moving into one house with the grandparents or parents. Just, you know, just everything was quiet, and a lot of the real badness happened at night, you know, a lot of the, when they were chasing them round, the people that were, because people were trying to get into work, and so obviously, you know, that wasn't going to happen by the strikers, you know, they were stopping it. So then the police, so the, you know, the fighting and the riots stuff would go
So did
on.
it feel quite threatening at night then? It was quite
Well, I never went out,
kind of
obviously.
lawless.
Yeah, I mean, my brother wasn't supposed to go out. My dad would have died if he'd have known, but he was there, you know, championing his cause, which is good, you know, for him. But we were all terrified that something had happened to him. So,
How old was he during this?
well, he was 10 years younger than me, so about, I don't know, 24,
And did he have a family?
28. No, not
So
then.
he was living back at...
He was living with my mum. He was 30 when he left home, and married. He's got 2 great children now. Yeah, but.
And what does he do now?
I don't actually know what his title is. He works for it's the railway company. I think he works for the railway company now. Yeah. My eldest brother, he lives in Scarborough, so he's right away from it all.
Right.
He's doing fine, him and his family.
He wasn't in the mines?
No, he was in the council house, but he'd moved away anyway, if I remember rightly. And he studied at night, and he's a geologist, and you know, he changed his whole life actually, and took his hobby and did Open University at night and got his degree. And of course, you know, that coastline up there is full of dinosaurs. And
talking Scarborough or?
Scarborough, Whitby, Robin Hood's Bay. I think his office is in Robin Hood's Bay.
Wow.
Yeah, he's got a great job. And he loves it. That's the thing. And he was teaching. He was, you know, as well. But he's retired now, and he takes people out on the moors and doing the hunts. You know, looking for the bones, I suppose.
Oh, brilliant.
Maybe you wouldn't like me to describe it that way, but that's my best shot at it, I'm afraid.
Wow.
So, and of course then that's it really, that's all I know. All I was there was just to be, if I was needed, you know, to help anyone. But I lived in London and that was it. So my mum would come down a lot, and Alan, and then when he got married, his family. And then, as I say, just things I noticed when I started visiting back, that a lot of the shop had been closed and something else had been in decline, and the village, you know, suffered badly for it.
Yeah. And when did you move back up?
95.
Right.
Yeah, it's about 20 years ago. Yeah.
And where did you move to?
Back to the village to start with, just renting a house in Bond Street, just while the family got settled. And Vicky was 13, so we got her into school, and then Jenny was 8, so we were settling her in school. But because I'd been in the city so long, it was scared of the dark for one thing, and like going out at night, no street lights. Where in London it's light all the time, you know. So I decided I couldn't actually stay in the village. I needed to be have a bit more concrete underneath me. Yeah. So we moved to Zetland Road, Town Moor. We bought an old house that we started doing up, and that's what we did. That's what we've done, and raised the family, and just moved on. So I've never actually been in the village, only with my mum, you know, and her generation, really. But my mum died anyway 2-3 years ago now, so I don't really go to Rosington. I only see a couple of friends of hers, but that's it. I don't really know Rosington now.
Right.
I don't know anyone really now. A few people see me and say hello, and I say hello, you know, but...
So did you come back and hairdress here then? Or?
Yeah, I did mobile hairdressing. Yeah. It was good.
So you got around all the mining villages that way?
Yeah, but I did the village that way, so I got to know it that way. And then I used to do, they laugh when I say this, my kids, over the North Bridge. I would travel to do it in Scoresby and all that. So it was recommendation, Bessica, things like that. People just recommended me, and yeah, it was good. Yeah.
And what did your husband do?
He's an electrician. When we first came up, he did Morrison's, did all the wiring at Morrison's, the new supermarket that was opened. And then they did one at Cleethorpes, or it's called somewhere near Cleethorpes. So he went there and he was hanging over the cables, you know, doing all that stuff. And then he worked for the council. He got a job with Doncaster Council. They were looking for electricians that could do everything, cope with everything, like engineers. And now he works for Empower.
Oh.
So, and I've retired and I look after my grandchildren.
Yeah.
And it's great. My son-in-law.
Yeah. That's the only downer, really.
He's the big boy of the family.
Yeah.
As Zari, his daughter, says to me. Daddy's the big boy.
Big child. Yeah, God, you don't remember. God, you're the stillest one I've had.
Wow, and I thought I was overdoing it.
No. Usually I go around the side and they follow me round. It's like, no, that's not the point. Please, remember what people most get carried away with what they're talking about and forget that actually I'm here to model
You're to
their
work,
heads. This is the priority, man. Priority.
It is very much like an interview like you see on the telly, isn't it? It just feels
Well, I
like
always
that.
think it's like meeting, it's Graham Norton meets Rodin.
Oh, yeah. Who's Graham Norton and who's Rodin?
You have to look them up on Google now.
I know my Rodins. I don't like Graham Norton
All
very
right.
much.
You're very lucky you've got a fixed, happy face.
Oh, good. Good.
It's very difficult to do happy faces.
I don't mind if it doesn't
Frowns and
meet
scowls
the spec.
are much easier. You very much look like your daughter looks like you, doesn't she?
Yeah. Too, you've met Jenny?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
that's-
She looks after me in the region.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. My God, the region. My God, every time I stay there, I'm in another wing. It's ridiculous.
It
It's
is massive.
massive.
Yeah, it is.
I had no idea.
I think they just kept buying house after house
Yeah.
along the terrace. I mean, they could keep going really around the corner. It just came to that. It's in a great position, that
Beautiful.
hotel.
It's
Yeah.
lovely. It's really, really lovely. Gives you a very spoiled view of Donny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, are you over? Which way are you looking out?
Well, we're looking over the traffic lights towards that beautiful kind of Regency house opposite. It's an empty
Oh,
kind of,
yeah, yeah.
so it's a lovely view of that.
There's some great buildings. Actually,
Yeah.
I had my friend over today, and we went to the marketplace. It's all being changed. Doncaster's changing massively now.
Yeah, there's a lot of kind of investment going on.
Whoa, yeah, but sort of to us oldies, you know, the old market's going, and we knew a few people in there actually, and they were quite shocked that, you know, they'd have to leave their stall and stands that they'd been there
Oh,
a long
really?
time, yeah. But then the trade, you know, actually the miners' strike and the miners being shut and everything, I mean, and the town has deteriorated a lot since then.
Mm.
And now they're trying to rejuvenate it, which is good, but a lot of people had to lose their premises to do the rejuvenation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I mean, are they being kind of housed temporarily, or is it just all been sort of like...
some of them have been into the taken into the Corn Exchange,
Oh, right.
which is a building that they did at once, and that I see they've got it covered again. And it's also great that because it's got a great fish market and
Yeah.
meat market. That is lovely, actually. It is lovely. But the back end of it, the old market, I think it was where the cattle and everything used to be at the time, the old market. That is going to be restaurants, and actually I don't know how many restaurants, but they're going to make that all quite a massive forecourt of entertainment. So, I mean, there is a lot of youth now, and things are changing.
Yeah.
And I just read in the paper the other day about the airport, a massive expansion at the airport. So there's going to be a lot more work and people, houses being built around, and, you know, maybe that will help the town. It
Yeah.
can change from being a market town and a migrant town to I don't know, something
Cosmopolitan.
else. Yeah, it would be nice that. It would be nice that, because it was in a cusp, there was nothing, you know, it was a void, such a void. After the devastation of the mines being shut and the families, that I think it would be good. But it's just awful for the people that have had premises there and have been told they have to move. I mean, one lady had been there quite a long time, selling curtains and things, and she'd invested money in that stand, but of course she had to go. But she hadn't got anywhere else to go, and so she said she was just packing up, selling her stock off and finishing.
Really?
Yeah, so her life's been changed drastically by the changes.
It's amazing that kind of, what's the word, the tremors of the earthquake.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah, I think so. Because it was thriving before. Well, everyone was working. All the men were working.
Was Doncaster
the kids
thriving?
were, yeah, the market, and it was a busy town, a great town, really. I loved it. I mean, I worked in town. Martin Douglas's was a hairdressing salon I started, and I was doing Saturday Girl and everything. And that was on the high street. And you can just remember, you know, the streets were full of people coming into Doncaster. Coach loads coming into Doncaster because the market and everything. You know, it was a vibrant town. And of course, once people aren't working and earning, then less and less people are coming into town. You know, 'cause,
so yeah, we don't often talk about Doncaster itself. I mean, Doncaster itself, we talk about the villages and all the communities, but actually Doncaster didn't have a pit. So, and each village had its own community. So how much of time was spent in Doncaster for people like, you know?
Well, a lot really, because everything, the banks and everything were here. I mean, the post offices are in the village, but from my memory of it, if anyone wanted anything, the big stores like Bins, you know, big names, Owen and Owens, and all these big stores were like, you know, you got your clothes there, you bought your clothes there, you got your pay, and off you went into town.
Yeah.
Great boutiques in Bradford Row, which, what was it called now? It's called something else now. Oh, I can't remember the name now. And I remember with my first wage that I'd seen a top by Jeff Banks, and I thought, oh, you know, I really want that, but I couldn't afford it. So I used to go in and I'd put money down, and she'd put it away for me, and when I'd paid for it, that was it. It was mine, and I loved that. I loved it. Quite a romantic top, yellow, and it was lovely, you know, with the frilly sleeves. And but you know, it was way above my pay wage, and of course nothing else matched it. But I just felt great because I had this, you know, Jeff Banks top. And then he married Sandy Shaw, and I loved her as well. And I thought, wow, you know, this is only getting better. But it's funny that. So yeah, so all of a sudden people didn't have the money, so therefore they weren't going into town and buying their shoes and. You know, and so the town did suffer because all the villages, you know, Doncaster was a big thing. You'd go into Doncaster, the cinemas were here. I mean, now it's sort of a park outside of town, but you know, the Gormont where the Beatles were at, opposite the Region, that's just a car park now. We used to go there, and I can't remember what the other one was called. So you know, all the entertainment really was in town. And it was a thing, you know, Friday night, all the guys and girls would be in town and spend their wages, so the money was going around, you know.
Did each village have its own hangout area, or was it all you all in I mean, did you all have your own, did you all go to the same bars?
Youth clubs, maybe. Well, I mean, my family was quite strict, really. I wasn't allowed out at night. All these truths coming out, goodness.
Did that stop you?
Well, it did until I was about 17 and a half, and then, but I'd go to the youth club. I could go to the youth club with my family, my brother, you know, when I was like chaperoned. You were like, it's the old-fashioned word, but, so I did things like that, but actually going into pubs, 18, good Lord, and if I'm, you know, you'd be caught, you'd be found out. I remember going into town once on a Saturday, and I met a friend, and when I got home, my mum asked me what I was doing in town with so-and-so. Then I realised, that, you know, everyone's talking about, even when you're not in the village, you know, I learnt at a young age that, you know, you're being watched in a way, quite innocently, most probably commenting to my mum, but she wanted to know, you know. So I was 18 when I got out into town. And actually maybe 17, when my brother took me to the folk club in Scott Lane. That's another thing, great folk club. And there's a great thing about that I need to tell you, because I hadn't been going there long, but I'd go with my brother, come back with my brother, who was 4 years older. And Adam Faith was the main singer that night. And
in the folk club?
In the folk club. He used to do the folk. God. And his girlfriend walked in with the hot pants. And you can imagine in Doncaster, you know, this was like London moving into a little folk club. And I thought, wow, I want that. I want London. That was me, really.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. That was when I realised that I loved what I was doing. I was being trained to be a hairdresser. And, you know, I was learning my trade, so I could use it somewhere else.
Yeah.
So my sights really, music was the thing that got me thinking, you know, I need to be a bit more expansive here. And then of course I got into James Taylor and, you know, Carly Simon, Carole King, and it just went endless then. I just kept wanting albums that I couldn't afford. So I'd have to go to friends' houses who could afford it, or we'd chip in. It sounds crazy, yeah?
You shared albums?
But I even shared a stereo. Can you imagine that? My mum bought us a stereo, me and my brother, and that was horrendous because he was into like serious music, you know, and Bach, and I'm like, no, I want my pop music on. I got these singles. Yeah, oh yeah. Stuart was good. He was the one that read and everything.
He's a geologist.
Yeah, very learned in his own way because he always read books all the time.
Really? So he was kind of self-taught?
Yeah, he was really. Because I was the one that was like, I just laughed a lot, really. I didn't really, you know, I tried at school, but I only started really getting it and getting my A's and that when I was leaving, which is too late by then. You're already, you know, getting to a job, earn a living and everything. So, but the hairdressing did me good, and then I did my 5 years. I worked in a salon in Rosington for a while Taylor's, while Maureen, she was having a baby, so I looked after the salon there for a bit. And then that's when I started thinking, you know, I needed to move on a bit, really. So I did.
So Adam Faith, I mean, this Beatles business, was that before your time?
I wasn't allowed in town then, yeah, 63. I mean, 68 I was 15, so,
oh, right, okay.
You know, I'd have loved to have gone.
That seems to be a legendary moment. Was that once, did they perform once, or did they?
I don't know. I mean, all I remember is that they were the best thing that I'd ever heard. You know, well, Tom Jones was one of the singles that my mum had bought me, Green Green Grass of Home, and I thought that was great, you know, at that age, at 12, 13. So, and then the Beatles came along, and it was like, oh, you know, that was it for me. I mean, some friends were the Stones, but I was just, it was just always the Beatles. And that was it. So when they were actually doing their tours and they came to Doncaster, it was like, oh, you know. But I think we still had a black and white TV then. I mean, it would never have been just a flash on the news, maybe the local news. But yeah, it was a big
the
thing.
region's full of it.
Well, the whole bar down, they stayed there, didn't they? That's why.
Did they? Oh, right.
That was their hotel. So they made the whole ground floor of it, you know, to the Beatles. So it's a big thing. Imagine all the girls screaming and everything, you know. I mean, I was never actually a part of that. But, my claim to fame is I went to the Top Rank, used to do lunchtime sessions of bands that were travelling around. And I got to see David Bowie and Mick Ronson.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where's the Top Rank?
The Top Rank, it was on Silver Street, and I'm not
Doncaster?
sure. And you went down into it, and I can't remember. It's all changed now along there. I don't know what it's called now.
Probably the Rock Bar, I think.
The Rock Bar, is it? And so, you know, you could get in at lunchtime. So I'd be working, so I'd have to rush in quickly, see them, and get back to work so I could carry on working.
Hang on a minute. You went and rushed in and saw David Bowie in your lunch hour?
Yeah. They
Really?
used to do sessions. They just travelled around. And Free, I saw Free then.
Really?
Stuart Henry, Radio 1 TV, radio shows. Yeah, so they were in town and I just wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And to get an hour's break was a struggle, but because I was still learning, they had to give me an hour. You know, once you were past that, you worked all the way through. So, you know, I'd rush like crazy just to go and see them. So,
Wow.
yeah.
So, I mean...
So Doncaster then, you know,
yeah,
there's a lot going on.
It's quite interesting, isn't it? Because,
Yeah.
you know, culturally, commercially,
Yeah,
things were
yeah, it was
really
great.
buzzing.
Good music
thriving.
bands. Beatham's was like a rock pub.
I mean, did it really? I mean, I don't know about the strikers. I mean, I know this one, but did it? Was it really like a moment? I mean, was it thrive, strike dead, or was it? Or it's slowly going down the
It's
path?
not for me to say, but that's how I would put it. I think she just devastated this whole area, and I hold her totally responsible for that, because she didn't think about caring about anyone. Once she decided that was going to happen, she was going to close them, whatever.
Yeah.
There was no provisions for let's build something else, another area of industry before we do this. Nothing was put into place. So people just left sent adrift.
Well, I mean, we have, you know, because the decline of towns, etc., was immense throughout the whole country. I mean, we'd have, for example, Lowestoft in Suffolk.
Yeah.
It was, well, my wife came from Lowestoft, and it was like amazing kind of Edwardian seaside town with, you know, extraordinary opulence and stuff, and incredible kind of homeland houses and industry and businesses and stuff. But I mean, it's declined and declined and declined.
Yeah.
But we lost no mining business. We lost no mining.
Was that not coastal though? Was it not when people started going abroad for holidays? Is that not?
Not the tourism. No, it was more about. I mean, a Bird's Eye there. We had factories, proper factories.
Yeah, well, the factories started going abroad, didn't they? I mean, there used to be a factory in the village. I mean, my wage was it £2.25 a week, and as an apprentice. And the girls at the factory my age, I think they made underwear for Marks and Spencer's, and they were on £18 a week plus bonus. You know, so that's how much. You know, there was plenty of money going around, really. I just had to wait till I got mine. So, no, I think she just devastated this northern area completely without any thought. So that's my take on it, really. Yeah. But it was, I remember good times in Doncaster, lots of music, varied bands, you know. Everyone used to have Battle of the Bands. I remember coming to a few of those, you know, where all the young people from all the areas are coming to town and going to competition. And that would be in, I think it was Melody Maker.
Really?
Because the main one was down in London, yeah, and it was like everyone was trying to get into the bands so they could go down there. Yeah, you know, but then, as I say, it just changed. And I was away, and I just carried on. I mean, my life was London then. You know, with Tom and I, we settled in London. We had our children in London, and loved it. I just worked in the West End and enjoyed my job, really.
Were you typical of your youth? I mean, did everyone want to get down south to London, or was it just, were you quite unique?
No, I don't think I was unique. I was unique in the sense of I was the only girl leaving home at 20, right. Which wasn't really done. I mean, right, I suppose I'll tell you this story. The reason I managed to escape from home under being protected was I had an uncle that worked on the Steiner lines. The Steiner? P&O lines, that was it. And he was a chef, and he'd come up to visit my auntie, and he knew I was hairdressing, and he said, let's get you on the boats.
Oh, really?
Come and do the boats. So I thought, oh, I mean, I didn't know how I'd feel on the boats, but I thought, oh, that sounds exciting, you know. So I said to Mum and Dad, you know, is it okay? What do you think? And I think, oh, if Uncle Joe's there, you know. But the interview was in London, a hotel in Marble Arch. So I went along for the interview, and to cut a long story short, day trip down there, and on my own, and the Cumberland Hotel, and they told me that I'd have to work on the ground before I'd get on the boat, which the wage for London was just, you needed a family with you to do that, because they wanted to train you in all their products before you actually got on the cruise ship and everything. So I was so disappointed. I went into the tube station and bought a Hairdresser's Journal, which is the Hairdresser magazine, and the ads at the back were listing who was looking for a hairstylist. So, and this was Taylor Norton in Duke Street, St James. Well, no idea. I asked directions. I rang them up. I said, I'm in London and I'd like a job. So they said, well, where are you? And so I took this tube, so off I went, and they kept me there all day because I could do highlights, I could do perming. They'd never met anyone that could do absolutely everything. Yeah, because down there they specialised, you know. You're talking about trendy London then down there. And so Mum and Dad were horrified, you know, where are you and everything, but of course I couldn't speak to them. But I eventually got home and explained what had happened, and I thought, oh, I don't know, I won't get it, I won't get it. And 2 weeks later the letter came through and said I got the job. Of course Mum and Dad were devastated, and I was like, oh, I've got to go, I've got to go. So the truce we came to was a year, as long as I came home regular to see them. So that year carried on for another 20 years. Wow. That's how it happened. And it was a 5.5-day week, so a lot of the time I'd have to finish. If you had a Monday off, or if you took the Saturday morning off, you'd lose a whole day's pay, so you had to be in there. But it was amazing. The people that I met.
That's right, a trendy part of Duke Street in the West
Oh
End.
yeah, all the art galleries.
Yeah.
I ended up living. Actually, we ended up living in one of them. One of our friends shouldn't say that. One of my clients who became a friend in Putney. We rented a room in her mansion. That was beautiful. That was lovely for a while we were finding where we wanted to live. And yeah, and all the art galleries and that. It was. I loved it.
Were you interested in the art?
Always have done, really. I'm not that versed in it. I had to really swat up on it because my education at school didn't really cover the Impressionists or anything. So, and then it was just like, yeah, that was it. Once we got there, I just loved paintings, you know, the Impressionism. I just loved that. But then my life had changed. Everywhere we went, like Tom and I would go music bands, and everything that we enjoyed was right on your doorstep. Yeah. You know, the museums, everything. And then we moved to Southfields. Well, Wimbledon first, had Vicky, and then moved to Southfields with a 2-bedroom flat. And we were there till Jenny was 8 and Vicky was 13, and we moved back here. So that's.
So why did you move back?
Well, I feel as though this is your life.
That's great. I'm getting quite genuinely interested. What's the next chapter? Okay. Why would you leave paradise?
I'm sorry, just let me compose myself. Well, we wanted a house for a start, which in London you can't really get unless, you know, you're doing extremely well. And then it was family as well. So we started thinking about changing our lives, really. And it seemed like a good time.
To improve the quality of your domestic life?
Well, we had a balcony in our flat. We were lucky. For a lot of, you know, Londoners don't actually have a balcony. We were very lucky. There were flats that had been built, Swedish built, and so they were designed really well, lovely big kitchens, you know. So there was gardens around it. We had a balcony. So it was fine, but then we did, you know, it was nice. When we used to come home to Rosington, of course, there was the big gardens, and the kids loved it, you know, they'd run around and all their friends. So that's, you know, we started thinking, right, we'd change our lives. So we changed our life. And we came up here. And it was great. My mum loved it, and, you know, family. Yeah, it was great. So, and it has been great.
So you don't regret it?
No, it was a massive shock to my system, actually, once I got up here. If I'm being truthful, because I was so independent down there. I could get anywhere I wanted on the tube, A to B, in Kensington High Street. It was 20 minutes, you know. Anything you wanted to do, anything you wanted to see, you could go, you could do it. And then when I got in the village, I've discovered that in Rosington, sometimes the bus drivers decide not to go where they should on the bus route, so you could be stood there for an hour. And Tom was working away, so he would have the car at Gatesby or near Cleethorpes, it was, doing Morrison's supermarket. So there I was in this village where the buses didn't come on time. So it was quite frustrating for me. And then I wanted my own car. And then I wanted, you know, I got into this stage of wanting things, where everything had been on the doorstep before, so I'd never needed to have anything of my own.
You didn't realise you had them, really?
No, because it was all there. You know, transport, you get A to B, no problem. Out the door, get a cab, nip down, you know, do your shopping, you know, everything was easy. Easier. So then I had to adapt really. And then we bought the house on Zetland Road, which needed loads of modernisation. So then we just started, and it just, it was good. You just get into...
project.
Yeah, loads of projects. Rebuilding loads of projects. But a 100-foot garden.
Wow, yeah.
And I'd always done a balcony, but never a garden. So it was great. I just got stuck into making it a garden, moving the rockery, doing this, that and the other, and growing sweet corns, green beans. I got right into it. So yeah, it's good. Well, my dad always used to do that in his back garden, grow potatoes, veg. He had an allotment. So.
Oh, he was a busy man.
Yeah. Well, that was another form of eating food, yeah. Him and my uncle, they had a pig. I know, because he said to me one day, they used to buy pigs and then slaughter them, you know, obviously for the meat and earn the money. And I remember him saying he had to sell a pig when I came along for my bedroom furniture, which he wasn't very pleased about.
When you came back from
No, when I was born.
Oh,
He was
right,
blaming my mum really for saying,
we lost
you
the
know,
picture.
yeah, because along I came and it wasn't a boy, so you'd have to have
Oh,
my own
okay.
bedroom with my own furniture,
Yeah.
and we had to sell a pig to accommodate me, so that was quite interesting.
Were the pigs a part of your life as a child?
No.
You didn't see the pig?
No, the chickens. My granddad had chickens, and he had a goose, and thought it was a chicken. He used to pet your ankles every time you went to feed them and that. But we'd go and get the eggs. But no, the allotments they had.
So your dad had allotments?
Yeah, my dad and my uncle. I don't know if anyone else was involved in it. But, they used to have a big Alsatian dog that terrified me. So, you know, it wasn't a place that we went down to. But
What, on the allotment? A dog on the allotment?
used to keep a dog, yeah, because you know a lot of people used to, if you were doing very well, might think, oh, I could have a bit of this, bit of that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just terrified of the dog anyway, so I'd keep away from it really. Because my mum wouldn't have a dog in the house anyway. Not dog people really. It's funny because Mum was so different to my dad. My dad was the real brawn, strong, you know, sort of man, and Mum was the one that went to church and
Yeah, that's incredible.
kept us. Yeah, kept us all neat and shiny.
So it didn't cause rifts or anything?
Well, you never knew because, you know, I think everything was kept away from you then. I mean, look, with our family anyway, I don't know. You know, financially we're doing okay. I suppose everyone was happy. And, you know, there might have been a few rows. I just never remember them really rowing. And I think they just got on with their lives, really. When we went on holiday, that was good fun, of course, you know. When you'd have him, or you have your dad back kind of thing.
Where are holidays?
Bridlington.
Brilliant.
There's a story in that as well. Because every year we'd go to Bridlington, the Wingard Hotel. We'd have a hotel.
Oh, you weren't
Right
camping
on the
there,
front. Oh, no.
So was that a big saving?
That was a big thing with my dad. Well, I suppose he was on the cold face, so if you were going away for a week, that's where you'd go. And then you'd end up on the beach with all your neighbours.
Yes, that's the interesting thing. So you end up on holiday and you're with all the people you live with.
So, but it was great fun if you think about it, because all the friends you played with in the street at home,
come with you.
You were all on the beach playing.
So it's like a street holiday.
Yeah, there was a few places along the coast. You'd have Scarborough, some would be Scarborough, I suppose, but yeah, Bridlington, Cleethorpes was another place, you know. But every year, and then this final year, we'd managed to, you know, go a bit further afield and went to Margate. And I remember us going to Ramsgate, this little grotto, and everything was so exciting. We'd been on a long train journey, and then my mum fell pregnant with Alan, and I was 10. I was 10. He was 14. And
so holidays were obviously very special.
So then, where did we go back to?
Bridlington.
So, luckily,
another
I loved him.
Another pigger to go.
So that was funny. Yeah. So that's. So mainly it was Bridlington. You know, that was our holidays. I mean, since we've come here, I like Whitby. We do love Whitby.
I've never been to Whitby. I really would love to go.
Oh, it's
is that where the jet is? Was that? What's
yeah,
that?
you're right. Yeah, yeah, it's lovely. It's very gothic. There's always themes going
gothic.
on, and it's great. It's lovely. Very rocky and loads of history to it.
Yeah.
Nice people, very vibrant. People come down from Newcastle and everyone goes there. You know, on the day
Gothic
trips.
festival.
Yeah, we've been there a few times. Well, the first time we went there, it's funny because I tend to dress in black a lot, and I fitted it right in. My black boots, black coat, my hair. But yeah, it's quite funny going in a pub and you sat next to a couple that, you know, look like they've just come out of the dark ages, and they're chatting away in the broad accents, you know. Yeah, but Robin Hood's Bay is lovely. That's a nice little bay. Very steep the hill to go down there, though. Very cliffy down there. But yeah.
And
but so I don't go to. But we did actually go in with Danny, my son-in-law, and Vicky, my daughter, and children to Bridlington. They decided to get a caravan, and we went in bed and breakfast, and we stayed with them that way. And then yeah, we've done twice, I think, Bridlington now with them, if I'm thinking it right. And we all stayed in a hotel the last time, and it's good fun. And it's like for me, it's like going back in time, you know. I sit on the beach and I'm still seeing...
It's the same beach, really, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but you're looking in the eyes of a child because you're thinking, oh, where was that hotel? Oh, because it's all changed. Oh, they've got flats there now. You're doing this thing, you know, and it's so great. Yeah, I've got great memories of Bridlington. You know, branching out to Margate and everything was like the best thing ever. Because when you come out of the railway station in Margate, you just see the beach.
Wow.
It's straight in front of you, and it's just so expansive. It's amazing. So yeah, it was. And then of course I moved, I left home really then. So it's my brother, a younger brother, that was going off to Wales and things like this, you know, with my mum and dad, having holidays far afield because there was only one child left in the family. Yeah. So it makes the difference, doesn't it? So, you know, my roots have always been mine, you know. It's always been there, and I loved it when I was younger. I loved the...
So you loved...
The cosy feel, the community, it is a community thing. I didn't know that word when I was younger. No. What I knew was that I knew who was there, who was going, we're doing this and we're doing that, and lots of fun was always going on. And everyone seemed, you know, obviously families were all different, but, you know, and our families and the cousins and auntie, we're all just getting along with life, and it was good. It's good. So coming back was fine, you know, coming back to a northern way of life. But I did miss, and sometimes when I go to London, I do get the excitement that I had when I was younger. But obviously now I don't, you know, I couldn't partake in loads of things that I used to then. So yeah, it's been good. So I'm, you know, born and bred Yorkshire, yeah. Rosington.
What's the time? I need an hour call.
6:02.
Sorry?
6:02.
So that's an hour in. That's all right.
I was just going to give a time and all, but
thank you.
I'll let you finish your conversation first.
Oh, well done.
Oh dear.
I've got a lot of hair to do.
I'll be quiet now.
No, that's good. I will have to deal with your mouth soon. When I do that, you'll have to be quiet.
That's good. Tom thinks I'm going to struggle now. It's just that one story leads to the next, doesn't it? It's
great. I find these kind of sessions take on their own, they go on their own journey really. They take their own course.
Yeah.
Which is lovely.
Good.
David Bowie in Doncaster.
I know, I was so close to him because the stage was only like a step
up. What period of David Bowie are we talking?
72.
This Starman and
Ziggy Stardust. Yeah, Ziggy Stardust.
This is a collector piece.
Yeah, and then Paul Rogers of Free. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Well, of course, he was right in front of you there in his black leather all-in-one jumpsuit with his hairy chest, you know.
Right.
And we're all, and of course, we're all still, you know, long skirts, you know, blouses up to the neck and everything. And like, these people kept coming up from the south. You're like, oh my goodness, you know, what's going on? And of course, to me being so involved with the chapel, you know, I was very much a Sunday school and Sunday school teacher. So I started getting enlightenment really when people were visiting from out of the town, and I just thought, and the music, it was music, obviously, that, you know, everything. I just loved music then. So going to see concert, Yes was a great band. I remember hitchhiking to see Sheffield City Hall to see Yes, and my mum didn't know what I had to do. I just kept praying that. But the thing was, hitchhiking then just seemed pretty safe as long as there was three of us, you know, and in the truck. So we'd just get a lift there and a lift back. So we was lucky. I would never say that nowadays, but you know, and they'd want to know where you were going, the band, and it was like the guys. Everyone was sort of learning about music as well. So, and I loved Yes. It was great, and we saw them in London. A friend of ours got us tickets for them. And because he worked for a music magazine, so you know, Pink Floyd. I just really
Did you see
love
Pink
music.
Floyd?
Actually, I haven't actually seen Pink Floyd, which is a great regret. But we went to see. Dare I say it? What's the word, Tom? A tribute band. It was very hard to say, but you know what? They were
brilliant.
They were excellent. The
what do
girl
they do?
vocalist, you know, when the song, there's one song where the girl's voice just keeps coming out, going higher
Oh,
and
I
higher,
know.
like
What do
falsetto.
they call that? They call that.
And she was
There's something in the sky. Gig in the sky. It's called?
yeah, and she just kept going, and everyone was like shouting for more. She was amazing. So in fact, if you didn't think about them being a tribute band, it was really enjoyable. But we went to see Van Morrison at Birmingham. And he did 20 minutes and left the stage, so no one was happy about that.
He's a moody kid, isn't he?
Well, you know, when the lights went up, we're all thinking, oh, there must be something wrong, what's going on? But, and then the band said, right, ladies and gentlemen,
Maestro
that's the end of the
left.
concert. Yeah, we're like, and the lady behind me is going, I've just paid a fortune for the parking ticket. You know, and all that. Yeah, everyone was furious. But
What was the
I would
reason?
never, I think he's amazing. I love his songs. I've grown up with him, really. But apparently, researching into him, if he doesn't want to do a concert, or he'll only spend the time that he wants to spend, really. But when you've paid so much money, I think it was about £60 per
That's
ticket.
outrageous.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But apparently, that's what. So I'd never go and see him again, obviously. You know, so I'm trying to think. There's a few bands I've been to see that. One of my great ones was because I love dance music. I used to dance a lot then. It was Tina Turner came to Sheffield Arena.
Oh, wow.
And that was a great concert. That she was brilliant, you know, private dancer and what.
Mm.
So that was, I went with my cousin's wife for that one, and her friend. But mainly, you know, it was local pubs in London. You just go like Half Moon in Putney, you know, there'd be music on there. Peter Sarstead, which no one maybe will know now, but he was gigging there, and you know, I've seen quite a few bands that no one would know really up here. But yeah, just love music, really.
Fantastic. Did you play?
No, my claim to fame is I played recorder and I can read music. Which is ridiculous, because sometimes I think it'd be nice to play the piano thing, but of course I never had a piano. Where would you put the piano? And I don't think the neighbours would be too happy with me plonking away on a piano. So it never came. But the good thing about it is I think we're going to get a piano in the family soon. So
Yeah?
yeah.
You might start
So
learning.
yeah, when everyone's out, I might have a little tinkle on it.
Did you get any lessons at all?
No, just I was just at school, recorder. That's what I did. Really, the hairdressing, the training. You know, when you were learning, you were in a salon. You were working all the time for next to nothing, really. You know, you'd have to be there first. You'd be the scrubber, the cleaner, the wind. You know, everything while you were learning your trade. And and then I'd have to get home from Doncaster to Rosington when I was in. By the time I got home there was tea, TV and bed, you know. It was just quite a simple life. And then the youth club, but they didn't have instruments at the youth club. But you could play like games and stuff and chat and stuff. But no, instruments. My husband plays instruments. He's guitar and drums, yeah.
In a band?
Not in a band. Well, he was in a band actually. I can't remember the name. What was it? What they
Was it a
called?
Pink Floyd tribute band?
No, with Bob. What were you called?
Oh, here in London.
In London.
London.
Yeah, but anyway, him and his friend used to do the wine bars, very posh, because he was congas, bongos, and
What?
congos, and
Oh, right.
bongo,
That wasn't
drums,
the name of the
drums.
band.
And
Congas,
I can't remember the name of the band. Can you? What you called? You and Bob? Anyway, think about it. Did you not? Anyway, so they used to do all the cocktail bars and Park Lane and that. So Alice and I, Bob's girlfriend, we'd go up there and we'd be doing dancing while they were playing and that. And when he came here at the folk club, the Lonsdale, he opened a folk club there with Brian, another friend.
Sorry about that.
That's all right, and two of us. Watch my tea.
That was your nose.
Oh, make sure it's neat. So yeah, very much in the music then. Watching other people again and Tom playing and that, but not me. No. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot we were doing that. I keep forgetting this is. It's very homely. I should be on a settee, you know. Not
No. You're getting too hard to handle here. There's a lot of you on this. Bloody hell.
Are you allowed to
It's becoming about a kilo of wax. It's insane.
This is the most expensive head
Oh, is it?
that he will have
Cost
made
so
for this
much
project.
to cast it. It's going to be half a bloody crucible. But I need your mane. It's a part of you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially if you're a hairdresser.
Everyone knows me for my hair.
Yeah. I can't not do it.
No,
It's a shame I haven't got time because I should have gone down below the shoulder.
doesn't matter.
So it's
I
going to
can
be.
cope with that.
I'll see. I mean, I've never done it before. We'll find out whether I can
Ah,
hint at it going further.
Well, I know when I worked in the West End and then moved out to Putney, so it'd be about 5 or 6 years later, I got a tap on the shoulder and a guy who'd worked in Jackson's in Piccadilly was there and he said, I knew you from your hair. I said, oh, that was like 5 years ago. My hairstyle, it's always, because if it rains, it always goes curly. So even if I straighten it and try and look sleek and trendy with the latest style, as soon as it rains, it just, goes back curly. So I'm very much known for the head of hair, really.
And lovely it is too.
Oh, thank you.
I'm
Just
getting
try
to
and
know
hang
it.
on to it as long as possible.
I'm getting to know it, I can assure you.
Right, I'll keep still now.
No, your hair's not going to move, is it? Well, while there's a pause, I'll do a mouth for a while.
I'll just
Have a
rest.
break.
Thank you. I've still got this one, really.
Just as I'm doing the mouth. Look at that.
What's that?
He just said he was going to do my mouth and then
She
just
said,
to draw a cup of tea and I had to try.
See. I'm not putting a mug in it.
That's a pretty good picture. Right, compose.
Where were we? Oh,
Mouth.
dear,
I
mouth.
won't talk now. Don't talk to me, or else I'll talk to you.
Okay. At the moment, you've got a whole load of fangs going on. But
Right.
oh, right. I can't go. I'm sorry, I won't talk. I will be quiet for a while. Thinking about David Bowie. Let's see if I can keep your mouth shut.
I'm being good.
Oh, yeah. What was the other guy called? One I never heard of? David what? Slur something.
Peter Sarsted.
Peter Sarsted, yeah.
Buy you one more frozen orange juice.
Right, okay.
That's
Well, I
one of the
never heard them
songs. What was the main one, Tom?
Where do you go to my love?
Where do you go to,
Oh,
my lovely?
I know him. Where do you
I
go
know.
to, my lovely?
Gosh, that's been covered countless
When
times.
you're
Yeah.
alone in your room. Oh,
Yeah. I'm not talking. You've been practicing?
Earworm, it's got me. 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll be waking up going, damn, Sarsted. Interesting name, isn't it?
Yeah, he was. Where was he from?
Oh, it was your name.
Where?
It wasn't his real name. It
Oh.
was. Where was he from, though?
There's a brother called Ian Kane, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Arab? Arab? No.
Arab?
Good-looking guy. Yeah, I don't know where he was from. The Emirates somewhere, I think.
Right, so he was an Arabian.
I don't know, actually. I need to, before I can say that, Tom's going to find out now. But he had
Oh.
very dark hair, a nice tash. The songs he just sang beautifully. It was lovely. I mean, James Taylor was my... I loved him. Loved his
What
songs.
about Cat Stevens
Oh, I loved him too.
in Jesus Mode singing?
Oh, of course.
I saw him on the telly in the hotel the other day.
On the telly.
Well,
What was
Yeah,
that?
hotel telly, Top of Pops 2 or something.
Oh, yeah,
I'd
yeah.
have him going about.
He was lovely.
He was amazing. What
Yeah.
a handsome guy.
Yeah, really handsome. Great songs.
Yeah.
Great songs. It was so it was definitely a time, you know, the late 60s, 70s for me, the best music. And I hear it all the time. I mean, they're using it on adverts and everything now, you know, everywhere is. So I like it. It's like a resurgence.
Oh, God.
Oh. Hi, Sarah.
Which camera are
Hi,
we on?
Jay.
Go to bed.
Hi, family. Are you enjoying it? It's a family outing. It's a serious job here. Ah.
I'm trying to do beautiful eyelashes. I haven't got tools big enough. Small enough, sorry.
Oh.
No, I know they're gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous children. I'm lucky I've got a lovely family.
Well, it depends which way you look at it, really, doesn't it? I know one of them.
I know.
Oh. He's
Bye.
like a boundless puppy.
Loads of energy, very fit. I mean, all the things he does, really. You know, and he's cycling and he's for charity and for the college. It's, you know, he amazes me, really.
He tires me.
Yeah, boundless energy.
I think we're going to go Cleopatra-ish with this, you know.
That suits me. I like them times as well.
Change my name to Ashley. You can call me Tony.
Tony and Cleo. Or Richard and Liz.
Wasn't he a miner at some
Oh,
stage?
interesting. Now there's a question.
What's from that area?
What, Anthony?
That's
What?
mine.
Anthony.
No, Richard Burton, before he got into acting.
That's good. That makes
I
sense.
bet he was.
Was he?
I bet he was.
Google.
Tom Jones was, wasn't he?
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's doing it.
We're both
He's
Welsh.
on it already.
I mean, there wasn't a lot of industry in Wales, was there, really?
Did you see Tom Jones?
No, only on the telly.
I've seen him in London.
Yeah, you've seen him. No, I haven't seen him.
Well, Paul.
I mean, he's too much, he's very cabaret sort of now, bless him. And he's lovely, obviously, you know, he's on The Voice there doing his bit. He's got a lot to offer.
Godfather.
Yeah, I think that's him now, really. Yeah.
He surprisingly kind of reinvented himself with doing Prince songs and
Yeah.
experimenting a bit, didn't he?
Well, he always had a great rock voice, but he went into cabaret, you know, I don't know. Well, it's obviously
Then a
done
bit,
him.
what's the word? Las Vegas.
Well, yeah, because that's where the money was, and that's him. That's where he's lived most of his life, I think. Where he's earned most of his money, I should think. But, yeah. So have you got any more heads to do then?
Well,
This
50.
week?
Not this week, no.
No.
Not this week. The idea is at the moment that we're going to have a massive, great piece of stone, rock,
Ah,
and all these heads are going to end up in the niches in this stone.
ah,
It's like a
brilliant.
giant, you know, size of a building. And there'll be like
Size of-
niches, like a
Wow.
coal seam going through it.
Yeah.
So all
Oh,
these
like a
heads,
coal seam.
Yeah. So these heads will all be
Ah.
going down in various bits.
Yeah.
So all these portraits will end up. There's a bronze one there actually. I should show you.
Wow, that's lovely. Wow, that's
So-
lovely.
So the idea is, at the moment, that the language of miners
Hmm.
will be sort of etched on the paving. So you walk over a whole lexicon of words.
Right. Wow, that's gorgeous,
See
isn't
the
it?
little boys top.
Yeah. That is really good.
Can you go?
Yeah.
You can hold.
I've talked that much. I've.
It's really heavy.
Wow.
It's cool.
That is really good. Not that I doubted you, but that is really good.
Hang on. Thank you.
Yeah, so they'll all end up. So basically, these massive, great. I'm going to hopefully find some. Go to the quarry on Friday.
Yeah.
To start seeing the giant blocks, and then if they're not big
And
enough,
then
we
build
stack
it
them.
up.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
But then that'd look
just
more.
hold-
That'd look better anyway, wouldn't it? Because you'd have all the cracks already there, like the seams.
And
So
then we
where
can-
will it be? Where is
I'm
it?
thinking at the moment, and I've got a meeting tomorrow with the mayor, but we're looking at hopefully going for the old coal board site, which they're developing at the moment.
Where the old coal house used to be?
The national
The
coal
big
board?
tall. Is it, where?
National coal board?
Yeah, I think that's it.
That was
Isn't it?
You told the council about it.
Where is the coal board house then?
Next to the next to Cast Theatre.
It's behind it, isn't it? Next to the
Yeah.
police station. That's where the old coal house, maybe that was just a nickname they used then. I don't know, but it's all flattened down and green now, grass.
Well, no,
once
this
they
is
got rid of the
rubble and-
building.
It's the other side.
Ah, right.
So if you're looking at
Yeah.
Cast, you've got the council buildings left,
Yeah,
and right there's a waste ground. And
Right.
This is that.
They're quite economical, the names.
yeah. Well, the actual back of it is all grass, lovely.
You know, the coal house and the council house.
I'm with you now. The council house now is actually being in use, isn't it? The new
Oh,
modern.
fine.
That's no. What was the other one then? What's up there now?
It's empty.
No, the big building next door to the cast.
Oh, it's a new one.
Yeah, and what's that called?
Probably the council house. Probably
We
that.
should know that, really. You should know, Laurence.
Well, I
You're there
should do.
tomorrow.
I don't know what it's called. Won't be anything fancy.
Oh, I know. It's named after the guy from the railway. That's right, Gresley House.
Oh, they're not.
Yeah, because it was trains. That was another big industry as well.
Yes,
obviously.
the rail.
The rail and everything. A lot of boys from the village went to work for the plant, which was where they, did all the building of the trains and things. Maybe do a lot more stuff than that. But then the other ones used to go to where the airport is now. It was the RAF base, because it's got the longest airstrip in Europe. Well, maybe Great Britain, I'm not sure. And a lot of the boys there trained on aircraft engines and got really good trades. That was a good industry. And then they moved, they went. I've forgotten about that. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I went there, we used to go, they used to have an open day, and we'd walk from Rosington to Finlay.
It's actually the other split.
That's right, yeah. And we'd go. Doctor Who landed there when I remember one of the occasions we were there. He was hanging from
Was
a
a
plane,
coincidence.
yeah, and his TARDIS came down and the Daleks came, and yeah, that was good.
Jesus, what, you watched that happen?
Real live. When my thing is, when my youngest brother was in the pram, so all the picnic stuff and the neighbours, everything went in the pram with him, and off we went to the next village, Finlay, which is where the airport is. And then you sit and have your picnic while they did all these air displays, and they always had an entertainment one. And I remember Doctor Who landing. I don't know which one it was, but the TARDIS landing and the Daleks.
Bloody workout. You lift that, hold that.
I've got a cup of tea.
Oh, I don't know. It's like a brick. You're a delicate lady. There's like 3 tons of it. Oh, God.
Are you sure 2 hours is going to be enough
No.
there, Laurence?
Some bits will have to suffer, I'm afraid. No, you're ahead of the world.
You need a couple of hot water bottles.
I need to borrow your armpit.
Yeah. No, you're not having mine. Borrow Tom's.
You can sit on it if you want.
Be totally flattened then, Laurence. Be no use to you at all.
Standing
first model that has to help warm wax. No, I can't reach the hot plate.
I know, I
I
realise.
crawl over with my
Bring it closer.
some weird Tyrannosaurus Rex dinosaur guy. You say, I remember the day when this Tyrannosaurus Rex guy performed in Doncaster College. It was great, really effective. He sang Peter Staziker songs. What was that? What was that guy? What's his name? Where do you go to, my lovely guy?
Peter, well, I'm not telling you again, Laurence.
Sarstat.
That's the third time.
Peter Sarcastic.
Peter Sarsted.
Sarsted. Here we go. How am I?
Oh,
How
he's
am I gonna
dropping
get
it.
that? Well, I could do some armpits.
Oh dear. Next time I want a couch.
Next time I want a haircut.
Mine's already in this.
I think we should have,
Shave it off.
have you in swimming cap next time.
Danny didn't tell me I'd have to sit on a perch. He didn't mention that bit. How are we doing?
Well, when you got here, you have to start making sculptural decisions about it, which is very annoying. Come on now, where do you go to, my lovely? When you're alone. With your wax.
Oh, dear me. Look, I need an easy chair. How long has it been now?
We're almost at half an hour to go.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, just be calm now. Just let me relax now.
Just sit back, relax.
You've got about 40 minutes.
Yeah.
40.
40,
You'll never be able to carry it for 40 minutes.
Is that long enough? Sausages.
You mean my ringless cool sausages now?
Here it comes. Get in there.
I could have put it up in a bun if
I
you
know.
asked me to.
I was saying, Danny, is she going to bun it?
But then you wouldn't have recognised me then, you see.
It's true. It's a mane, it's lovely, it's a wonderful mane. We're going to be just as much of the hair as there is.
When I met my husband, his hair was longer than mine,
Oh my God.
right down his back.
Really? So it was a real hippie thing you were going for.
Yeah, well, it was the times, wasn't it? I mean, guys let their hair grow long, it was lovely. It's quite weird watching the shapes you put yourself into to do
No,
things.
it feels weird, I can assure you. Well, I can't. It's self-explanatory, isn't it?
You're doing a grand job, so that's all right. Hello.
Oh my God!
Oh, that's not very nice.
It's
You
now
can't
gone.
cope.
It's going downhill rapidly.
You
You have to rewind to know what's been going on. This is a bit of a thing.
the hair.
Yeah.
I know, I said to Laurence, would the hair be a problem? This is a big feature of my mum.
I said yes, it would. Can you get her to do something about it? Obviously, the message didn't.
No,
get
it didn't
through.
get through. I said I could have put it in a bun if you'd have wanted to.
There's 2 tons of it.
I know.
You can hardly carry it, Vicky, that's why. And the wax under his arms is heavy. I mean, it should be, you know, years ago they'd wax the hairs off your arms. I mean, new technique with the t-shirt in between.
Where's the morning?
That's what I said.
We booked it earlier.
Yeah.
We got soggy tea.
I was going to bring a bottle.
Were you?
Yeah.
Why? What?
I don't know what your sculpture might look like.
You're on air.
Yes, that's true. That's true. I could
Would
have
have
had
been a
an
great
excu- I would
sculpture.
have had an excuse.
Yeah.
I said, well, you got me. What do you expect?
Yeah. grandma.
Oh, that's always a good sign.
You get younger, don't you, if you go on.
For 3 hours, it looked like you.
You won't, 3 hours look like me.
Yeah.
It's in the genes.
It's usually at grandma phase in the first hour. I'm a bit worried now you said that because we're an hour and a half in.
I don't mind. I love my mum.
You
We
say
are
that-
very
you
much
say that
similar.
now.
No, it's true, isn't it?
Yeah,
We're very.
it's really similar. Jenny,
Yeah.
my sister Jenny.
Laurence
you
knows
two
Jenny.
really
Yeah.
like each other.
Yeah.
I look like Dad, but he's a bit beardy at the moment. I've waxed.
Sort of get a sense of the length of it because of
Yeah.
the breadth of it at the back, you know.
Yeah.
There's a hell of a lot of it there.
You need it on a pole so you can just work at it from the floor.
Yeah. My wrists are hurting. I need to get back to the face.
Yeah, don't worry about the hair. You can add that later. Or do you have to do it all in one sitting?
That's the law.
Oh, and then
That's
it's
the rule.
the rule, is it? Who made that rule? Oh, well, there you go. No sympathy then.
Well, if you bugger it up, you know, if you start to lose, there is a kind of a spirit, a bond, as it were,
Mm.
and you kind of lose it if you just start to fiddle with files.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
You have to be just honest to the project, really.
Wow, I can see a resemblance
Yeah?
there. Yeah. Are you still doing the mouth then? So.
Not really, no. I'm battling in other areas at the moment.
Can't stop talking. He
In the
keeps
back-
talking to me and I keep talking.
Try and get a little spiral. There's a little ring.
Mm.
There is an ear in there, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's no story there. Bloody earring as well.
I can take them out if you want. You don't have to put them in.
It's not gonna.
That's extra.
We talked to him about the pit.
Oh, we've talked about my whole life, I think.
More mainly David Bowie, to be honest.
Oh dear. I mean, I don't think my children know half as much as what the whole world knows now. Whoever's watching anyway.
No, we're not that bothered.
I know, that's right.
No, I'm joking, Mum.
It's on there for posterity.
It's on there forever now.
I know. We've given a wave to Zara and Jaden. Danny's
That's not really encouraging me, you know.
She thinks
It's
it's
like-
good. She can see my mum. That's why.
If people start laughing at it when you are throttling it by the neck.
Yeah. But it looks really like off Game of Thrones type. He looks really regal.
Yeah, I thought I'd give
Oh,
you.
I like that.
thought
No,
I'd
I
give you
asked
a-
him to keep me looking
a
the
mane.
jowls tightened up and everything.
Give you a mane right
That looks like a nice plait all the way across the top.
Because that's where it's all crinkly there, isn't it?
Is that you?
Not yet.
So, the plinth that you're going to put it on, are you,
Or in?
well, you
Massive
know,
piece of
how
stone.
are you going to do it in the sense of what finish? Are you painting it black or?
The stone or the bronze? The
No,
stone will be
the
natural.
stone.
Hopefully natural KB kind of honey-coloured stone.
Right.
And
And then the bronze
it's
heads.
carved into niches.
Good. That'll look good.
And then there'll be about 50 of them. And as I say, you walk over the language of miners to
Mm-hmm.
get to them.
Oh, that's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
So everything that you've been told, you're going to.
Yeah, there's lovely words used in mining, and it's just like brings it to life, really.
Right, I'm with you. Yeah. So that's going to be a pathway around it. Is it
Well,
going to be
just the
like
whole-
a little park
The
area?
whole paved area would be
Yeah.
like just words and the names of the pits,
Mm.
and then you get to the kind of what's the word? The detritus of the mining world. So there'll be like maybe pit boots, hat, helmet,
Yeah,
um,
David Lamb.
picks, that sort of thing. And then you get to the miners and the community in the rock, people of the rock,
Yeah,
people of the land,
yeah.
people of the soil, people of the stone, and they're being all in a scene.
Mm. That's
Around
great. That's a good idea.
And that way I've brought the community in.
Mm.
Remember you said, where are the where are the women, where are the
Yeah.
families? I
Yeah.
thought, oh God.
I know, but
Yeah.
I think the women did an awful
Exactly,
lot
yeah.
keeping the men at work fed, the home going while they were out
Yeah, yeah.
working in bed, they did a lot.
So, but rather than just sculpt a family,
Yeah,
which is all a bit literal,
yeah,
these films will all be attached to they'll all be the digital side of it. That all these heads will have 2-hour films attached to them. This one's going to be a bit strange, obviously, but but and then so you have this kind of digital record.
yeah, oh, yeah.
So I'm quite excited about it.
I am now, I can't wait. So how many heads have you done so far?
This is the 18th.
Oh, that's not bad, not quite, well, not far off half.
Yeah.
Look at it that way.
We're gonna break
So
down.
this project's going to take how long, do you think?
Well, I haven't really discussed it with anyone properly, so.
Oh, sorry.
But I'm imagining
Mm.
if we went for this site, that we're going to have to I definitely won't be ready till next spring.
Yeah.
But whether the building will be ready, the site to put it on will be ready, I don't know.
Ah.
So it depends on building and
Yeah. Funding.
definitely that.
Mm.
That's all going to be worked out.
Yeah. It's definitely a worthwhile thing. The way that the town's changing now, especially. Its history will be there forever.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's good.
I really love the idea of this film, 50 films attached to 50 heads.
I know. It's great. It's great that. Mm.
God, it's bloody heavy. It really is heavy. Sorry, okay.
That's all right.
Danny's got delivered by a key for a
Laurence.
Just spat on it. I might leave that now.
Florence is getting tired.
Sorry.
There you go.
It's going downhill.
That's one of our family traits,
Sorry.
It is, yeah. Vicky, you've missed loads of stuff. He's had me telling everything. I knew he'd do this. I call him Theroux. What's the guy's name? What's the
Louis.
Louis Theroux. The way he interviews, like, you just make it so relaxed and
Who's
easy.
that? Me?
Yeah, you do, and it's quite scary, really, because you end up talking about everything. Everything, don't you? It's true, isn't it? Luckily, the theme was the mining.
Yeah. Not 60s pop music, I have to say.
Or 70s.
Or 70s, sorry. You are looking at your grandma at the moment, so
That's fine.
my mistake.
That's fine, don't worry. It's quite strange to have your head done though.
I wouldn't know.
No, have to get someone to do yours.
God, they're not good enough. No one's good enough. Wouldn't trust anyone.
You'd have to cheat and do a wax mask.
Self-portrait.
No, a wax max No, what's that? Didn't come out right. This is sober.
Interesting. God, we didn't go for the wine.
Laurence Mac
Mac wax.
A wax mask.
I'll give you a teacup, Nick.
Is it time yet?
Sorry, there's crow's feet now.
That's
Too
good.
late.
Put a few in there. I've worked hard for these.
They're very long eyelashes, aren't they? I don't think it'll...
You can't do them justice, you mean?
Well, no, I just don't. It would look silly if I went 2 foot out in front of your eye. It start to look like... They're the sort of things that can look really stupid
We're just doing
in
little.
the wrong hands.
Yes, exactly. Well, I'm trusting you, Laurence.
You didn't realise quite how you were when you came to that talk. Just to support your son.
Oh dear. Wow, I can see that.
Can you see it?
Yeah, it's good.
Now you and your daughter have these eyelashes, don't they?
Mm.
Well, we all do. We all have eyelashes. But it's definitely... It's funny how you can inherit weird hair on the end of an eyelid. Well, you know, that can be inherited. That can be inherited. It's bizarre, isn't it?
Oh, I believe you, Laurence.
Think about it. I mean, I do a lot of heads.
Well, yeah, that's true. So we've all got the same eyelashes now, do you think?
Yeah.
Wow.
Give them a bit more.
Wow, yeah.
That's all right.
Really scared myself there, but
If
that's...
I was a reminder, I'd just say, make him look false.
Pardon?
If I was a reminder, I'd be like, you make him look like strip lash son.
Jaden and Zara, the grandchildren, great eyelashes as well. Beautiful long eyelashes.
They're not watching now, you're all right.
No, it's true. I haven't actually looked into Danny's eyes long enough to see how long his eyelashes are, but Vicky can tell you that.
He's got more bright blue eyes. Can't see.
Yeah.
I want to say Bathsheba. Now I've done that.
Bathsheba, yeah. Not the Witch of Eastwick, not one of those. You will be worn out after this one, won't you?
It's like working in the gym.
It's really good.
Good. It's good you can see it now. We've got 20 minutes to go for you to ruin it.
You just be calm now.
Yeah. Let's go around the back.
Is that the heat that's smoothing out?
No, that's light spirit.
Oh, yeah.
I need a rest. We've got a tripod.
These lights are very hot, aren't
Yeah. It's a terrible light to work in.
they? I bet it is. I can just see it from the corner of my eye. It's like me and my shadow.
Really?
It's quite surreal, yeah. When
Yeah?
so I'm looking straight ahead. I can just slightly see it from, because you're slightly forward, and it's like just seeing your face. It's weird.
It must be weird, actually.
Mm.
Not normal anymore. First time I felt I needed my assistant here. Prepare the clay for me. Or wax whatever it is. Oh, it's nice and soft. Must be stressed. You all right, Scott? We're having a ball. Have you had a glass of wine?
Don't tell us that. We want one.
We were touching.
No, that's all right. It's definitely an experience, this.
Jesus Christ.
Don't drop it on me, you'll knock me out. We're just getting to the end now. Signing off.
This one, they always do it turn to this relaxed kind of silence.
I'm fine with this now. But yeah, I was like a canary when it first started, wasn't I? Sorry about that.
What movie did you go and see?
It wasn't really as interesting as I thought it'd be.
What was
It's
it?
called something Feet, Cold Feet or something. I thought it was going to be a comedy. They just said it'd be a comedy, but in fact it turned out to be very sad and not, but a good film. Jonah Lumley was in it, and I can't remember, Tom somebody. It was okay. The best one we saw was 2 weeks ago, Red Sparrow.
Oh, what's that about?
Whoa. You need to see that. You're just going to shock from the word go. It is brilliant. It's not what I expected. I hadn't read up on it at all. I had an idea it was like about the Russian spies, you know, the women, how they trained, but good Lord, it held nothing back at all. It was shock after shock. It was quite funny because the whole cinema was empty. It was an afternoon with my friend, a matinee, and we like to sit in the comfy seats when we go. So we booked these 2 seats, no one else in, and guess what? 2 people came, and where they were sitting right next to us. So this whole cinema's empty. And of course, the scene starts so dramatic. You know, I swing back with shock. These 2 did, and my friend, and eventually the whole film was all the jerks were all doing this. And by the time the film had finished, these 2 guys and me and Izzy were like, "Oh, got through that all right." It's like we'd known one another for years. Couldn't stop laughing, but the shocks that it's horrendous, but it's a good film. So that one, you know, wasn't very interesting. But it was good catching up. Izzy's from Dinnington, which is another coal mining village. Dinnington. Dinnington, yeah. Yeah, it's another.
She's someone you've
village.
known all your life?
Yeah, from London.
Oh, right.
Met her in London, and Scottish. Izzy's Scottish. That's the thing, when you move down to London, really, at that age, you're meeting loads of young people, all from, not from their own homes, generally. And Izzy had come down from Scotland to work. I don't know where her first job was. She did the BBC, really highly skilled, Izzy, and her PA work. And we just got to know one another through friends staying at one house, and we went to visit, and then, you know, and then we'd just been friends, had children. Weekends we'd stay at friends' houses, and then Izzy moved to Scotland, we moved to Yorkshire, and she moved down from Scotland to Yorkshire and then to Dinnington, where her sister, whose husband was a miner, so we're back in the same area really after all that. So it's good, yeah, and we get together every couple of weeks, try and do a movie and just chat for hours.
I can imagine. Does she want to pose? She got skinhead?
No, she's got a nice bob, is it?
Right, there you go.
Yeah.
That's what you like upside down.
Are you pleased with the way it's coming
I
on?
think it's, yeah, I'm very relieved. I was a bit worried about this one.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I can tell.
Oh, with the hair, you mean? Yeah, sorry about that. I could have put it in a bun.
It's got to be natural.
Yeah.
It's got to be the real thing.
But it is actually natural. You can't. It's just washed and you know, it goes into its own curl. So it's as natural as it can be. When I take it out of the slide, it's like a mop.
It's going to be a big niche in the stone. You take double the space.
Yeah. Double the rental space with his head.
Rest.
You're really earning your pennies now,
Yeah.
Laurence. Don't remind him of that bit. You better put it in gold and auction it.
What's the time?
5 to.
We're on the countdown now.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, I should just apply them to the left side of the face. Don't want to wish it.
More stress and
Don't worry,
strain.
we'll go for it. We'll go for a smooth up.
I can relax more now, can't I?
I don't think you start dead on anyway, so.
I can't handle any more of this.
I was going to say, who's side you on?
Please. Put me out of misery.
So for the next time. Got me perched up here on this. Yeah. Please. I'll be rigid. I should have had a walk round in between, Tarlo. It was nice. Oh.
Did it go quickly?
Yeah. I mean, I was quite relieved to have a rest at the end, you know. I've enjoyed it. I mean, I didn't know what to expect or what the experience would be, but I found it quite...
We talked about mining for about 2 minutes.
I know, this is what bothers me. They're like, it's not really the topic you was brought here. I've been on This Is Your Life, you know. It's like,
It was quite a journey, yeah?
Yeah, we're all a bit
did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Just loads of missed out as well.
Didn't mention the fact we moved to Cornwall for a while.
Oh, God.
No, don't set me off there. We could have been here about, give you all day. Yeah, but we were meant to be talking about mines, really.
There's a lot of mines at Cornwall.
Yeah, true. Tin ones now, aren't there?
Yeah, just about 3 minutes after.
Okay.
Is it like countdown? Does the music come on in a minute?
Doodle-dum, doodle-dum. Keep looking at me like, yes, one, are we done?
2 minutes. Zara will say, 2 minutes.
Yeah. I think Zara commercials. 2 minutes. 2 minutes forward. Yeah. 2 minutes, mate.
I like how you've got my hair sliding there as well.
Yeah, yeah. Impressionistic one.
I'm impressed.
that?
It means you've finished.
Right.
Okay, I think you probably have.
Oh, good.
Well done, you're brilliant.
Is it switched? Thank you. Thank you, Lax.
Do you want hands off that chair?
Just let my legs dangle for a bit of time. There you go. Let's have a look. Wow, that's really good.
Look
I
at
can
that.
just see my. That's really
I know.
good. Well done.
Excellent.
That's excellent.
Gonna hold it.
Look at that.
It's good, isn't it?
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's smashing.
And it's going to end up like bronze.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
More
it is
like
a
that.
bronze. Feel the
I've
temperature
seen
of
it.
that.
Oh, is that your armpit? I don't like this. Take it back. Look at
Yeah.
it.
So that's what you'll be.
Yeah.
Wow, I feel that.
I know, I felt it.
Amazing.
They're all going, yeah. Hold up. Some of the residual temperature.
Oh, I can feel it, yeah.
How many degrees is it? Come on, be technical.
What's body temperature?
Oh, wow. I don't think I've sat that long for on a chair like that.
Oh, no, that's good, isn't it? It's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does look like it.
Yeah.
Wow.
If I put it in the shade like that, look.
Yeah, no, you need to get the light right, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, them lights are really long.
Yeah, it's really difficult.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like
Yeah,
a movie
that's
star.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, there you go.
That is good, that. That is very good.
Thank you, that's lovely. Can we go home now?
Yeah.
Well,
Cheers, thank you.
you're not leaving just yet.
You're going to have
Right.
your portrait done.
Portrait.
Oh, is there?
Did you not tell you?
One of these.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
Danny said, oh yeah.
And you said, hurry up.
Danny said we need like you, he said you know like set this up.
You've got
Portrait.
Oh, it'll be alright.
Yeah, it's good.
Well, guys, thank you.